What was it? Do you remember, for instance, and this is a rhetorical question, nobody needs to answer it. Do you remember that whatever the European Union was to be, do you remember that being subjected to the public, for the public to offer ideas of how they wanted to form it, or how they wanted it to operate, or how they wanted to pay for its costs of operation, or what kind of economy it might have? Do you remember this being subjected to the public? We don't, do we? Well, the reason is somebody else is trying to establish new governments above us. And Alan Greenspan was, I think he was still head of the Federal Reserve then, and if you remember, he made what to me just was a strikingly preposterous statement in regard to the euro, that we basically could benefit from its competition, a competing currency. Well, this is the lie of this, is that these currencies are different. This SDR is the new proposed currency controlled by the IMF. Well, is it a new currency? You know, just because this is what Ron Paul says, end the Fed. and he advocates that we're going to benefit from some ostensible, quote, competition, unquote, between banks. What competition that doesn't exist now would exist somehow in some way that he hasn't even defined? Why should we even assume this? Okay. Now, at the same time, Ron Paul asserts that higher rates of interest would have prevented us from borrowing so much money. Well, in the end, it would have, because it would have been goddamn sooner, too, because we wouldn't have been able to afford to borrow the money that we did. And instead, we would have paid it out of circulation all the faster because we're paying, excuse me, very much, greater rates of interest on it. And so, bye-bye, gone. Mm-hmm. Kiss your butts goodbye all the faster.
Once you complete the mathematics.
This idea that it's a new currency is just part of the lie. They're giving you, it's another Federal Reserve note. It's another, all they're doing, excuse me, very much. I'm just getting over a bug here. I've been pretty sick for quite a few days. Anyway, all it is the same thing in a different package, hoping you're going to think that it's going to better something, but there isn't even a change or a reason for you to think it reorganization. Would.
The word they use is reorganization or reformation, reform. To reform. That's what they call it.
Yeah, change you can believe in, whatever.
Yeah,
you
it was green, and then we're going to paint it black, and then we're going to paint it blue, and then we're going to paint it red. It's the same thing, folks. Just a different color paint.
Yeah, and before you do that, would you do one thing, one favor, just for me? Nobody else cares, but I do. Would you justify this concept of interest for me, please? What is it you're actually doing for us? How is it you say that it's better that I pay 3 or 4 houses for one, even if I built it?
Exactly.
Oh, and we're all better off for that. That's really wonderful. And because that works so good, you've got to change the name of the money, but not the principle. This is some pretty scary thoughts. I mean, what are we? This is kind of like George Orwell in 1984. All this is going on right under our noses, and we don't even realize how evil it is. That's so preposterous, you know. And I mean, sure, this is the age-old scheme. You know, they've been doing this forever. And that's all they're going to do is change the name of the game. Ron Paul's people, you know, what are they going to do? They're going to take down the name on the bank. It's not going to say Federal Reserve anymore. It's going to say the great savior, Ron Paul's banking system on it, you know? And we're going to go, wow, a new bank. And guess what? It charges interest. And because Ron Paul said so, not because any of us did the math, but because Ron Paul says so, it's going to be greater interest than ever. Instead of paying 0.25% prime rate like we are now, he's going to make it 17. He's going to make damn sure we don't borrow too much.
Exactly.
Instead
Shit
of
sandwich
paying
is still
4
a shit
houses
sandwich.
for a house that I built, I'm going to pay 17. And I'm going to be all the better off for it because I got a few gold coins in my pocket that pretty soon he's going to own.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You see, I keep telling people this about gold coins, silver coins, yada yada, whatever. Listen, folks, if you take gold coins now, if you hoard a few gold coins now, what are you going to do with them? I mean, let's say, for example, if people are hoarding gold coins with the idea, I think in their mind that if the economy collapses, I can use my gold coins, which, that's probably
Most of
true.
those people are already having to spend them.
Yeah, but even if that's true, sure, okay, let's take it that that's so. Okay, you have gold coins, the economy has collapsed, everybody else is in deep shit except you. You have your gold coins. But you're going to have to spend them. That equates handing them to somebody else. Now, unless somebody else is handing you gold coins back in return, you're screwed.
Yeah, and you've got a garden in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you're growing tomatoes, and you're down to your last tomato, and this guy comes over from next door, and he says, I haven't had a tomato in 3 years now. This economy, it's coming back strong, but somehow I haven't even seen a tomato. I don't know why. And I've got an ounce of gold I bought when Ron Paul was running for president. Would you trade this ounce of gold for that tomato? And I'd have to think about it.
I wouldn't.
Because I would have to wonder, what the hell good is this gold going to do me?
Yeah, what flavor is it?
Well, and I mean, these people just want to hold on to this simple idea that, somehow they're saving themselves. Somehow there's some way to avoid the consequences. And I'm sorry, unless you live in a very remote place that, people aren't even going to access, and you're entirely self-sufficient, and all your debts are paid for, and you can't possibly be taxed to some extent that you can't pay for something, I'm sorry, there's no insulation whatsoever for you, And we basically just have to address this problem. And it's not like there isn't a solution. It's a matter of making up your mind whether or not you're going to do this or not.
Well, Anne-Marie posted something there. I've just pasted it to you. At the moment, the world economy is in turmoil.
Got it.
Now, you see, here's the thing, folks. It's not in turmoil. They are completely in control of what it's doing. They knew this was... Look, if they've known about Mike's information since... 1968, Mike, is it?
Actually, that's the beginning of it all, and
Is that
I'm
when you
sure
began to present it to them?
there was some awareness of me probably by 5 years after that.
Right.
Well, where
let's just
actually
say-
there was prominent attention begins in 1979.
Okay.
So early Reagan era. I mean.
Okay. Let's just say, for the want of discussion, 30 odd years they've been fully aware. The so-called powers that be have been fully aware of your mathematically perfected economy. So think about that, folks. For 30 years, what we refer to as the so-called powers that be have been fully aware of this. So don't think for a second that world leaders are in turmoil about the economy. They aren't. They are controlling precisely what's happening. Precisely.
They are. Let me put some fine touches on that.
Sure.
Edit it, if you will.
Sure.
They are not in control. What we have here is a system which is, as I've explained, inherently terminal. And that is, so long as the process exists, it will produce the result. So long as any rate of interest is being paid which is profitable at all to the banking system, to the extent that we have to pay interest out of circulation and borrow any of that back as new debt above a former sum of debt, we will suffer failure. And we're already in the failure. We're in the extended stages of artificial sustention, where every government is overspending so that they're basically pouring money into circulation, accumulating sums of debt which are so vast that no person in their right mind would even presume what happens just this year alone can ever be repaid back. And all of that is being dedicated not to solving the problem, but to preserving the means of the crime. Now, are they in control? No. What originally, if you're such a thief, appears to be a brilliant, and I don't consider it brilliant at all. In fact, it's just a cheap trick, in my opinion. And I don't consider people who do this brilliant in any way at all. In fact, if you actually examine them, their patterns of behavior, their actual knowledge of things, they're stupid people, they're inept people, they're futile people who are utterly pretentious. There isn't a real bone to their bodies, most of them. But are they in control then? First of all, they didn't design this system. And because, to our discredit, we're not reacting to all its injustices until their sum has become a terminal to us, a major threat, an obvious threat. And if you're sitting there wondering if this is really true right now, you're the problem. You're not the solution. This is very obvious. But they are not in control because this process that they're trying to preserve is their undoing. And this is the thing that means that mathematically perfected economy is the only way to leap above this. We actually have it, and this is why this world mandate is not just for mathematically perfected economy. And Vincent, when he called yesterday, this is the first thing that he made apparent to me by a sufficiently exhaustive explanation that there couldn't be separation of economy and this restoration of justice, and this is why he brought up, this Brehon law to me. But so our worldwide mandate is a mandate for mathematically perfected economy and absolute consensual representation, because the lack of the latter is why we got the Federal Reserve System and why the whole world is subject to this. Did you ever vote for a Federal Reserve Bank or a central bank? Absolutely not. Have you ever been explained what justifies those banks? Why a few private individuals should profit to the monumental extents that they do by this crime against us? Never in the world could anyone actually justify this to you. Why are you all saying that no one would loan us money if it didn't come from a bank